Hi, I want to pick up on budget basics, and what I want to make sure you have a chance to do now that, so after you've seen the videos, after you've done your initial estimating of income and expenses that you believe you're currently acting under, I want to show you some tools where you can actually proactively work on formalizing and setting your own budget. So again, some things to remember: a budget is just a tool, right? It's a spending plan, and you need to start with what income you have available, right? And then that should guide your spending based on, different categories of needs and wants and intention to save versus spend versus share, right? So you can set, there's different rules of thumbs about what's most appropriate. You should do what works for you. But again, once you've had the practice looking where you currently are, you may now want to proactively set parameters to guide your spending in different categories. So what I wanted to do is, for those of you that have ready access to Excel, one thing you might want to try to start preparing a budget of your own, if you go to File, New, right, and then Excel, Microsoft has a ton of built-in templates. So I would suggest you go to budgets, right, to categorize them, and you can see a ton of templates that might be useful for you, whether you're budgeting a certain event or for your college years or life in general. I would suggest you start with a personal monthly budget and go ahead and create that. But again, feel free to pick one that makes more sense to you. You can play around, preview them. And then, right, the first tab, which is not showing there, is the nature of the template, what it's designed to do. And then the second tab is where you would input your information, right? So the clever thing about Excel and the built-in templates is there's certain areas where you input cells, right? So what sources of income you have, you can add additional ones. And then it's going to do a lot of tracking for you or do the computations for you. So again, there's the starting with the income side. That's sort of the max you have available to spend. The other thing to remember on budgets is a budget can be set for any time frame. So monthly is common, or bi-weekly if that's how you're paid. Some of you might want to work that way. Some companies create annual or quarterly budgets. You should do the time frame that makes sense for you. This particular template is set up on a monthly basis. Again, it's got these different areas, some of which you may be leaving blank, but it at least has you think about the different areas, and again, it will do the math for you to look at your projected net surplus or deficit. So again, Excel, if you go to their templates and grab one of the budget ones, is a slick way to set up a budget, and that's going to be your final assignment for this section. Is coming up now that you've read the different videos and had a little bit of practice seeing whether you need to shrink your costs at all, shrink your expenses so that you fit within your income, and knowing some sort of rules of thumb about how much should be for needs versus wants. You will prepare a desired budget moving forward. For those, if there are any of you that work in Google, you can also in Google Sheets, right? Similar idea as Excel. So again, Google Sheets. And again, they've got different options, different templates, and you can look at the different templates, but I encourage you to take a look at the monthly budget. And again, it has places for you to put your income and expenses. It also has an additional tab which can be quite useful, especially as you're getting used to using a budget. You literally, right, budgets are only useful if you use them. If you track your expenses and income over time and you constantly revise your budget to make sure you're ending up where you need to be. So this particular template has a transactions page. So every time you have an expense or income, you note it in here. So it'll be tracking it as you go and will provide you summary reports on where your expenses are. So again, your final assignment in this section will be to actually build a useful budget that you can use moving forward. And you can start from scratch, but I encourage you to at least look at the templates that are already available. You can also search online. As was referenced as well, there's also other apps and programs like Mint is a pretty straightforward one you can look at. So see what works best for you, and I challenge you to set a budget for yourself. Thanks.